New highs, the Fed, and more idiocy. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz with you. It is Sunday, April the 28th, and always great to spend some time with you as we dig and shovel out here in Chicago from another snowstorm in April. Unbelievable, but what are we seeing? Of course, we see the first thing we see is some very sadness, very sad event. Another shooting in a synagogue in San Diego. Another coward, another piece of crap that deserves to die, if not already dead. And of course, this has got to stop. But of course, a lot of this is being created by, of course, your friends on the left with creating all this hatred for what's going on. But once again, we continue to see the battles being waged and innocent people getting gunned down for no reason. Our thoughts and condolences and prayers go out to them. Just another tragic event that is just for no reason. So again, it's with great sadness that we talk about that, which again we'll move on. But our thoughts and prayers do go out to all those involved and to everybody, because one day it's going to affect you if we don't take care of it today. In the meantime, markets have made new highs. Not a surprise. GDP, one of the biggest GDPs in the first quarter, a traditionally slow quarter to begin with, 3.2%. Again, is it real? Is it Memorex? We don't know. Okay. Again, will it be adjusted down? I don't know. But I can say that, personally, from my point of view, I see a lot of things that remind me of a recession is on the way if it's not already started. I would not be surprised if it's already started. In fact, I've said that on air a couple of times. I do think that we've probably seen the start. They don't announce themselves like markets. They don't just come out and say, okay, well, we're going into a recession. Okay. And of course, you've got all the pundits out there chirping that we're never going down again. Okay. You've got all the economists that would never recognize if it hit them in the head until 10 years from now. Okay. And of course, we've got another Fed report coming out on Wednesday, 2:00 Eastern. We'll get their decision on rates. Now, I don't think there's any reason to believe that they're going to change their stance. It's kind of hard to believe they can't. I mean, if you have the growth you have, okay, of what you're saying, it's kind of hard to believe that they're going to stay as dovish as they are. But I think all bets are that they are going to stay dovish. Okay, I think if you look at the Fed funds rate, the Fed fund rates is still looking for a cut in interest rates. Okay, now again, it makes no sense to me, but it does to me say that yes, the markets are going higher, but there's a lot of underlying issues in the general market. Okay, so to me, in the general economy, it says there's problems out there. Again, we just don't go into these places and all of a sudden can't raise rates. I mean, if the peer-to-peer lenders can get huge rates and huge money, why is it that the banks can't? Why can't the Fed hike rates and doesn't the economy stand for more? Of course, banks are stopping. Again, going back into the not lending, okay, allowing these peer-to-peer lenders to lend, and then the banks are buying these notes from them. Again, makes no logical sense to me. But of course, the Fed has no logic, and basically they have no clue. Okay, that's really what it comes down to. Is they are a bunch of economists that are very well educated, but they're only educated in theory, and we all know that theory don't do jack. Okay, now again, of course, I'm always wondering, now that we've had, finding out that all these FBI agents were in on a lot of the cover-up and a lot of things that were going on. When are they going to get investigated? Okay, why wasn't the Steele dossier investigated by Mueller? Okay, again, you continue to see, no matter what comes out, that the left has one thing in mind, and that is to continue to disturb and disrupt and not make America better and not make America to continue to grow, but to be more of a hindrance. Okay. Again, you can believe whatever you want, but that is very evident that they are continuing to pound away instead of trying to move forward to make things better for everybody. They are continuing to be in the middle of a pile of crap that does not want to go forward, trying everything they can to gain back power, including the rise of homeless, the rise of discrepancies in wages. But of course, what do they care? They just want to get the power back so they can get back to the money. Okay, they want that socialism because, of course, socialism, the money all drains up to the top instead of trickling down to everybody else. Not a good thing. Free college, yeah, okay. Let's get that free college. Can I get my $500,000 back from free college? Okay, any chance that I can get my money back? All right, again, I paid for it. All right, let's not get it. And of course, the greatest new thing. We've got the credit card charge-offs. In other words, wiping away debt, the highest in 7 or 8 years. All right, and of course, you've got all these great companies advertising and telling you that, hey, you don't have to pay. Go charge and charge and charge. You don't have to pay it back. We'll help you beat it. Okay, whether it's a scam on one side or the other, that I have no idea. But isn't it interesting that is one of the between the attorneys and their class action lawsuits, okay, and whether it's talcum powder, weed killer, whatever they are, okay, which between that and Viagra and the credit card companies, where we get every other ad is, all right, either you're going to sue or we're going to scam the credit card company and you don't have to pay back what you owe, or you can go have a good time. I mean, again, it's become really ridiculous, but again, when you look at what's going on, it doesn't make a lot of logical sense to me. To me, my era, you grew up, you borrowed money, you paid it back. Okay, you didn't spend money that you didn't have, knowing that you wouldn't have to pay it back eventually. So again, listen, the credit card companies aren't perfect, right? They've done a lot of things, and of course had a lot of the laws changed of bankruptcy. But now all of a sudden there's another loophole. But again, either the credit card person is getting scammed, or the credit card company. Somebody's getting scammed out of this deal, and somebody's making a pile of dough, putting it all together. So I think that is an issue, and also the same issue now is with markets at highs again. You've got the fear mongers out there trying to tell you that the world is coming to an end again. All right, now they've been telling you the world's coming to an end since the last collapse. All right, but yet if they can create enough fear, they can reach into your pockets. Okay. Again, it's really something that always disturbs me is that why can't we just put it out straight? Why do we have to create all this? I understand marketing, I understand all that bull, but at the end, can't it just be done straight? All right. Obviously, that's probably not the case. But again, as we await the Fed decision, we saw Facebook's earnings last week. All that trop and worry and sweating about what was going to happen with Facebook, and I could never buy it, and I'm getting out. Oh, well, Facebook got back near new all-time highs again. So, again, let's remember one thing. When it always comes down to it, it's about the money. Okay, that's what it's about. It's about the money. So let's get wacko here. I think when you look at what's going on, you've got Apple's earnings, you've got Google's earnings, you've got a lot of things coming out, and of course we know that they're already beating up on the reduced earnings expectations, which again is more of a game. And another thing, I believe that earnings should not be reported as they are, because this is just another game. Let's make them look bad ahead of time so that we can come out, we can force everybody to come in and buy into the market, okay, versus the real story. So again, it's more of a game as you look at what's going on, and I think there's a lot of things that are all part of this. Again, is the 3.2 GDP real? I don't know. Again, I think we are headed in or are already in a recession. I know that the economists won't tell us for 10 years from now, but again, that doesn't mean a recession doesn't mean immediate that things are going to happen and turn around. I think that there's a lot of things going on. Again, everybody's talking about, well, if there's there's going to be a China trade deal. Okay, we have said this from day one. There's going to be a deal. Okay, there is no question there's going to be a deal. The only reason that there's hold of it's just more of a game. All that's happening now, in my opinion, is everybody's trying to figure out the best way to save face. Okay, not any other reason, but they're trying to save their overall face. What's going on? Okay, that's really what it looks like to me. I think that, of course, here in the wonderful state of Illinois, what do we have? We have another family in the government mansion. Got some investigation going on from the IRS. Should be an interesting story. When you know that in the last 100 years, 50% of the governors have gone to jail, we can see what goes on here. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, we're going to stop out here for a break, and we'll be back with more of Bubba's Bottom Line after the break. What's up, everybody? Hey, I've got these great webinars in the can, and of course, we're in the middle of our new hedging and future classes. And if you'd like to hear them or see what we talk about, they're free. All you have to do is email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com or check out the website, bubbatrading.com. And of course, farmers and producers, again, I stress that you should always be hedged. And I think you're making a mistake by not being hedged some of these products. You can see by some of the things that are going on. So if you need some help with that, just go ahead and email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And of course, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line. Welcome back to Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz with you on this Sunday morning, April the 28th in the snowstorm. So what happened? Markets made new highs. Shocking. Okay, we said, right? We have said, and we will continue to say, that there's no reason to try to short this market yet. It makes no sense. Why do I think that I can pick the top of the market? I personally don't like the market here. I see a lot of problems with it, but we're still long and we're not getting out. Okay. I think you have to just understand. I believe this to be, we'll call this a retail rally. This looks to be no real commercial money, but more retail money that continues to push it up. And it's, again, I think it's something that will eventually fall apart. But the question is when, and we have no idea. Okay, we can't time the market here. So what is the best tack of action? S&P made new highs. NASDAQ made new highs. Dow is not close. Russell may not make them in this run up, but again, they may. So at the end of the day, I think the Dow is going to make new highs, and I think you look. But until you have a solid footprint that says, hey, this market's going to turn, why would you want to think that anything different than what's going on? That the dull market drift continues higher. Remember, markets that are dull drift higher. It's as clear and as simple as that. Okay. Don't make it complicated. Don't look for all those special warnings. Dull markets drift higher. And the old saying is, never short into a dull market and never fight the tape. Okay. If you follow those rules, so we will stay long. Okay. Again, our algorithms are long for all equities. So we're staying long equities. We've been long the entire year, and we are not changing yet. Okay. And we will not use our opinion. We will let the math help us decide. In the meantime, it looks like after last week's Sri Lanka bomb, another terrorist, another garbage pail of stuff, another sad event. Of course, as you remember, last Sunday night, spiked oil higher, took it earlier on Monday. And then, of course, oil sold off hard towards the end of the week. And of course, we got into that, what we call backwardation formation, which means that during the week last week, June oil was $1.30 to $1.50 higher, more expensive than December oil. Okay. That is what's known as backwardation. That is what's known as the fear trade. That is the same trade that has happened a number of times in history. And each and every time it has happened, oil has collapsed. The most recent time it happened was in 2014 when oil was 106 on its way to 26 because of this fear pattern. You've been built up because of the terrorist attacks, because of all this stuff that's out there. Of course, again, there's plenty of supply. Oil, in my opinion, and we've said this, we were sellers at 64 and at 66, and we think the highs are now in and are comfortable to see it continue to work its way lower. especially as long as it maintains this backwardation pattern. Okay. Now, as far as interest rates, bonds are kind of mixed, but they have been working their way lower. Interesting enough, the Fed funds rate are continuing to price in a potential rate cut, which makes absolutely no sense. We're still willing to be a seller of bonds at certain prices and certain levels. Gold may have finally found a bottom here. It did make a little bit of rounding action, a pretty good rally on Friday. So we'll see indeed. I think you need to watch 1290 to 1300 to see if we can get through there. More than likely, we are still short gold and would more than likely expect at least another test of the bottom end before we continue to see it resume and go higher. But again, that's why we're watching. Okay, we have a position based on everything, so we'll see where we go from there. Grain markets, man, again, it has been absolutely brutal. We've been absolutely dead wrong on the grains. Of course, we expect them to go higher. Again, I don't know. Listen, obviously they can go lower. Okay, but in adjusted prices based on ethanol, corn is trading lower than it was in 1990. And excuse me, 1998, 99. So we'll see what happens. Again, we still like them, but unfortunately they've gone pretty nastily against us, and we'll see. Again, there will be in the grain markets for us. There is no puke point. We, the farmers, are willing to hold here because again, value. This is almost like a value-added proposition in buying an equity. Okay. The difference is it's a real commodity, and there's a lot of things that can happen between now and whenever that can change these prices. Okay. So again, not a great trade at the moment. We'll see what happens. And the meats have started to give a little bit away here as well. Now, again, as we look at the cattle markets, live cattle has broken down a little bit at a very key level. So we're going to have to watch and see where they work from here. They held a key spot on Friday. So we'll watch. Feeders are really still in that big consolidation. And hogs, as we have said for the last couple of weeks, they're probably going down into the 80s. And sure enough, here they are in the very high 80s. And at some point here, we'll look for a spot to buy. That overall fear BS, that trying to drive everybody in and create panic is always bull. And of course, that'll take care of that. And we'll look to see where things going. Cryptocurrencies had some bad news, but yet here they are back up. And as you remember, we talked about the lows in the 30s, in the high 3,000s. So now we're in the low 5,000s. And again, I see no reason to believe that they will not continue to work higher. They'll find levels like every other chart and every other market. I think that's one of the things we have to understand is how the markets function and how markets work. I think that's a big thing. And of course, one of the things that I see here is and I think this is where you're going to see some of these dramatic reversals is you've got the hedge funds pounding away and the grain markets selling hard. And the Fed funds have now created a record short position in volatility futures, okay? Meaning that they think obviously the markets are going higher. And again, I think that they're actually, my opinion is they're actually trapping themselves into a very, very bad position, okay? Because they are saying that there is no reason for fear. We will not have any more problems. And of course, generally, at some point, that will create, in our opinion, a massive short squeeze. Now, again, it may not be tomorrow, and I'm not saying they won't be right. But what I'm saying is that you cannot continue to pound away on a market, especially one that is so easily changed over time that you can worry about it. So I think that you can look at it, and I think that they're going to end up being wrong. I think the volume model tells us that they're going to be wrong, and that they're going to get it stuck up there, as it goes forward. But again, we can't predict, when that would be or how that would happen. But I think there is plenty of problems, in the overall picture, and again, but let's just sum it up like this, okay? Markets, equities will continue to make new highs as long as the markets remain dull. There is no news right now that is bad news. All the news that is bad or considered bad is wiped away, and markets pause, and then they go higher. Michigan sentiment, record highs. All these sentiment numbers are telling you that we are approaching the end. But again, there is no timing in telling you when the end is near. I do remember 1987, one of the very good writers in August of 87, in the bottom of his message started to say, sell every day. And then, of course, in October, it finally happened. But you've got too many things out there, too many people that are reassuring us that everything is okay, which usually means it's not. The Fed inability to raise rates, which should say that there is some sort of a problem based on the GDP. So a lot of issues out there, but at the end, we're long, we're staying long, and that's the way it goes. We're going to step out here for a break and come back with my commentary right here on Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz will be right back. So farmers and producers, again, reach out to me. Let's help you and get your marketing plans done. Let's get the setup right. Let's teach you how to hedge against the markets so that you can actually put yourself in a position and not have to worry about these depressing prices that we have. And for those of you that want to hear my futures or hedging webinars, just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. I'll be happy to send them to you for free. And don't forget about my high school program and help us out at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back to Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, I give you my commentary for the week. And I get a lot of viewers and a lot of people watch this show, and I get a lot of comments, and I get some nice ones. I get a lot of brutal ones, and I think the ignorance of the people that comment here do not understand the concept of what makes a two-sided market. I got a couple last week. One, you're an idiot. Okay. It's okay. You can tell your opinion. I got no problem with it. Okay. Then somebody told me I had a total explanation wrong. Let me see if I can read it for you. This is the dumbest explanation why they keep money into the market I've ever heard. Okay. Well, again, that's idiots. Okay. That's what makes a market. You see, there's always two sides to a market. So if you idiots who make these ridiculous comments would understand how a market actually works, maybe you guys work for the Fed because they don't understand how markets work either. But if you would understand how a market works, okay, there's a buyer and a seller. And to make a market work, the buyers and sellers have to meet. So when you make an explanation, it is somebody's opinion. Okay, you have an opinion, great. I don't have a problem with your opinion. Please feel free to voice it, but don't voice it with ignorance. Don't voice it with spite and hate. You got an opinion? I got no problem with it. Don't make me mad. But again, understand that it takes two sides. This is the problem, okay? Idiocy that is out there, all right? Again, I have no problem with comments. I have no problem with negative comments because I'm certainly not always right. But certainly, don't be ignorant yourself. If you're going to make a comment, don't say that it's wrong. Say that you don't agree, okay? Understand that in a market system, there's two sides to the market, just like there's two sides to everything else. Okay, so please, watch your language and don't be ignorant when you send in something. I know many of you are trolls, but that's okay. Okay, look, I'll deal with the trolls too. I have no problem with it. But at the end of the day, okay, remember, it takes two sides to make a market. There's a buyer and a seller. They meet together. Okay, so if you're on one side, on the other, is there anything wrong with that? Same as politics. Okay, do we have to worry about politics? Okay. I'm on one side, you're on the other. It's fine. Not a big deal. Okay. Again, doesn't mean we can't get along. So again, keep that in mind. The next time you get to your email and want to send something stupid, okay, think about it. What really makes the market work and what makes everything work, okay? Because not everybody always agrees on everything. But it's easy to have a conversation without the hatred and without everything else, okay? So next time you trolls or idiots decide that you want to go ahead and fire away. I could take it. I could care less. But at least have an intelligent opinion. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. I thank you all for being here, everybody. And of course, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. And if you're in the Midwest, stay warm. Everybody have a great weekend. Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll see you tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. Have a great day, everybody.